Humans experience suffering in many different forms. Some believe that suffering is an inevitable part of the human experience, while others view it as a consequence of sin or the result of moral or spiritual shortcomings. But how did it all begin? The story of Adam and Eve is one of the most well-known stories in the Bible. It tells the story of the first man and woman on earth and their creation, life in the Garden of Eden, and their eventual fall from grace. According to the Bible, God created Adam, the first man, out of dust and breathed life into him. God then placed Adam in the Garden of Eden, a paradise filled with lush vegetation, rivers, and animals. God also gave Adam the task of naming all the animals in the garden. However, God noticed that Adam was lonely, and so he created Eve, the first woman, out of one of Adam's ribs. God presented Eve to Adam, and the two became companions and partners. God then gave Adam and Eve one rule to follow: they could eat from any tree in the garden except the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. God warned them that if they ate from that tree, they would surely die. One day, Eve was approached by a serpent, who tempted her to eat the fruit from the forbidden tree. The serpent convinced Eve that God had lied to her and that eating the fruit would make her wise like God. Eve succumbed to temptation and ate the fruit. She also gave some to Adam, who also ate it. Immediately after eating the fruit, Adam and Eve realized that they were naked and felt ashamed. They covered themselves with fig leaves and hid from God when he came looking for them in the garden. When God found them, he confronted them about their disobedience. Adam blamed Eve for giving him the fruit, and Eve blamed the serpent for deceiving her. God then pronounced punishments upon all three of them. The serpent was cursed to crawl on its belly, and enmity was put between it and humans. Eve was cursed with pain in childbirth, and Adam was cursed with the need to toil and work the ground to produce food. Finally, God banished Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden and placed cherubim with a flaming sword at the entrance to guard the way to the tree of life. The story of Adam and Eve has been interpreted in various ways throughout history, but there are several key lessons that it teaches us. 1. The importance of obedience. The story teaches us the importance of obedience. Adam and Eve were given one rule to follow, but they disobeyed it, and as a result, they suffered the consequences. 2. The reality of sin and its consequences. The story of Adam and Eve illustrates the reality of sin and the consequences that come with it. By eating the forbidden fruit, Adam and Eve introduced sin into the world and suffered the consequences of their actions. 3. The dangers of temptation. The serpent in the story represents temptation, and the story warns us of the dangers of giving in to temptation. Temptation can lead us to do things that are harmful to ourselves and others. 4. The importance of personal responsibility. Adam and Eve tried to blame others for their actions, but they were ultimately responsible for their own choices. The story teaches us the importance of taking responsibility for our own actions. 5. The need for repentance and forgiveness. The story of Adam and Eve also teaches us the importance of repentance and seeking forgiveness. Despite their disobedience, God still loved them and provided a way for them to be forgiven.